All right, good morning and welcome. This is The Beautiful Game. My name is Mike Messikeno. T-Boy and T-Girl are here with me. Let's get straight to it. How are you doing, guys?
I'm
good
fine,
morning.
thank you. Good
fine
morning.
gear.
I'm fine, boy. Looking dapper.
Come on, mate. Let me get those videos. It's great to have you. How are you doing, guys?
Hi, thank you. How was your week?
Oh, it was good. It was good. Let's get straight into it. Let's kick off with, okay, it was Europa League before we go Napoli. Europa League Finals.
Yeah.
Let's review it. We spoke about that match last Saturday. I was expecting an exciting match because I feel like two teams that have nothing to lose.
You mentioned where they finished in the league or where they are in the league right now, 16th and 17th.
Yeah.
It's unheard of where you see a Manchester United 16th on the table and even a Tottenham Hotspur 17th on the table. It's been a long time you see those two in that kind of position respectively. And then also, winning the Europa League final will guarantee you Champions League spots next season. So everything was on the line for both sides. And it was expected that it was going to be a cagey game. Yeah, I was impressed to see the first goal in the first half. I actually thought after that first goal came in, the floodgates were going to be open. United tried. Since then, Tottenham just made sure that, look, we have that one goal. We have to make sure that we solidify the defense. We hold on. After that one goal, from the statistics, Tottenham had no shot on target after that.
Even though the goal was crufty and all of that. So I slept off. In fact, there was a particular point I woke up, it was 50-something. I was like, this match never ended. I slept off again.
Oh, you woke up and watched the game.
I am telling you.
I said I slept on the second half. I woke up past 12.
I am telling you. Because I expected that you throw this all out on the line and you guys go out there and give me a final that is not cagey and all of that. But they still gave us, the goal was a scrappy goal. They're still arguing. Was it own goal? Was it Johnson's goal? It's just going back and forth and all of that. We expected more from these guys. Ruben Amorim. Yeah. Look, we spoke about it here. I emphatically stated why it was a stupid decision, a silly one for them to get this guy. This is Manchester United. I don't know why they don't see things that other people see. This is a big corporation, footballing. You are one of the most recognizable up there with Madrid. What happened? How is it so?
Well, I think for the game itself, if we're going to look at it, banter aside, I think tactics came to play that day. And of course, Manchester United not knowing how to, of course, finish off their game. If they had a recognized striker in that game, I know Oiland is recognized as a striker, but of course, he's not been performing. Finisher. Yeah, of course. So now,
what's the difference between striker and finisher?
It's not a poacher.
Is tag and position.
Yeah.
Then
ability
the finishing is not the ability.
So that means Hoyland, what is he?
How many goals has he scored?
He's a striker that cannot score.
Has he scored more than 10? So basically, in the game, United dominated. From the wings, they didn't make use of the middle. And you saw Ahmad becoming like the Messi of the day, and it was cooking Udogie left and right. But the problem was, his cutbacks, the crosses, who could connect? United were more dangerous than Spurs. And Spurs, for the first time in my life, I saw Ange. I don't want to say pack the bus, but they didn't come out.
Yeah.
Solanke was off the mark on that day. Richarlison was off the mark. The only good thing was the fact that he could mark. And apart from that scrappy goal, they didn't play anything. United, but sometimes we say that this football is cruel. If you don't take your chance, anybody who of course takes their chance is the winner of the game. Spurs were no deserved winners, but there is no one way to play the game.
But if it was possible for them to lose, they should have lost.
Of course, United deserved more of the win. If not for 8 watch and for the fact that I knew I was going to talk about it today, I would have never watched the game.
When you say deserved, did they score goals?
No.
They did not.
I understand goals.
Okay, based on the play.
But based on the play, United deserved to win that game.
Okay, or you say it could have gone anywhere?
No. It could have Spurs were not dangerous.
I understand what you're trying to say. Spurs were not dangerous, but Spurs picked their moment to attack. And every time they did, they tried to...
Intense.
Yes,
you mentioned something about the Liverpool final. This also happened. Liverpool-Tottenham Hotspur was one of the most boring finals.
Yes, in the Champions League.
I'll never forget AC Milan-Juventus, 2006.
No, that 2006 was Arsenal-Barcelona.
Arsenal-Barca.
What was the next one? AC Milan-Juventus.
Maybe 2005 or when?
That was... You see, that was one of the worst. Whenever teams from the same league are playing in finals of competition, I'm telling you... Yeah. Tottenham, Liverpool, remember?
I think it's going to be different if it's
except Madrid, Atletico Madrid, though.
Okay, except Atletico, Real Madrid. That's because of their big and all that. But my point is that I expected a bit more. When next for Ange? Ange has come out to say season 3 is always better.
Yeah.
You know,
He knows how to drop quotes.
You know the funny thing about this man, all through the whole season, he never looks at the camera because he's so ashamed. He's putting his head down, grumbling. Same thing, Amorim. What next for Tottenham? What next for Man U?
I think for Tottenham, they should build from this momentum. If they can help, I don't know if the number of injuries they've had this season has given me so much concern that.
So are you
is
saying
it
that
a physio problem or nutrition or
nutrition?
Something? It could be anything.
It could be, yes.
But they need to also look inward into that particular problem.
They're playing Champions League next season.
Yes, they're playing Champions
League. So they could
next
meet
season.
Ibaka.
And also, what's this man's name? Danny Levy needs to open the checkbook. I know that yes, he did make some signings and all of that. They also need to cut down the squad and let some players go, some deadwood and very unnecessary. Timo Werner, Matthias Thiel that came on loan.
Tell, it's not a complete transfer.
On loan.
It's not yet. No. Okay, but there's an option to sign.
I think so.
Okay.
Came on loan. A few players that you know that they really don't have much to offer anymore. And then you rebuild. You start adding, even if it's youngsters that you know that they need to shore up those areas where they don't have backups. Do so. That way, you give your team the option to be able to be flexible. Or you have League Cup games, you'll be able to use these boys and all of that. They went fine in the League Cup. Unfortunately, they faced Liverpool and got knocked out and all of that. But you could see that they were really stretched thin because of the injuries that they had, especially to their first team players.
How about Man U? What next for Man U? Ruben Amorim. Now, there's that talk that he'll still remain.
Of course, they don't have the money to sack him.
Yes, they do not.
Because, you know, I think United are in the trenches now.
Yeah.
When I'm in trenches now, 200 staff will lose their job.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I think I heard rumors that the players are up for sale.
Yeah.
Anthony is up for sale. Oilon is up for sale. They bought him for about 70 million.
We'll get to individual players because look at Anthony you're talking about. Look at McTominay. That is the one that want to use catapult and fire that Man U or whatever they are. So we'll talk about that. But what next after the final?
Finance. United now have been asked, the scouts have been asked to go to Belgium, France to get players within 20 to 30 million that can fit into the plan of the club.
Liverpool is about to spend 120,
so
130.
The problem is generational.
And then Man U is talking about. I'm just saying about how the tides change.
Look,
how you have all the money. This is a Man U that
Liverpool have been there
if
also.
Not that they don't rate us,
that's what I'm saying.
Nigerian journalists here.
Yeah.
We've been saying these things for years now. United need to go through that suffering period. They've avoided it for long. They've tried to. Maybe one season they try to suffer. They see that the suffering is so much. Instantly they buy a 100 million player, 70 million player.
And it doesn't work.
And it doesn't work.
Look at the salaries they're paying.
And look at
They're paying 300.
Yes. Look at Ratcliffe now.
For 17th club, for a club that's almost relegated, you are paying 300, 350, 280, 250.
Sometimes I wonder, you have scouts in your club. What do they do?
What do they do?
All they do is use their own analysis based on YouTube or another team's scout. I remember that time when City wanted to buy Fred. United went for Fred. Alexis, Ronaldo. They went for him. Ronaldo, the same thing. You have scouts. Let them do their job. But you're paying them to sit around and just lazy around. That's why when Ronaldo was making these complaints then, you guys called him a madman, called him names, he's arrogant, is this. But he knows what he saw.
It's bad.
He knew what he experienced before coming.
I mentioned here that it was from the moment I saw it, I don't know why anybody did not see it. Amorim was maybe wrong guy, wrong time. It was wrong time, definitely.
No, wrong time.
It was wrong time because I mentioned
you can see the imprint
when
of
a
this.
coach and a wrong guy. Let me say why. Let me tell why I say wrong guy. When a coach wants to change a club system, you come in with one or two players who are the fulcrum of that system. Jose Mourinho has done it. The biggest managers have done it at any time. If you want to change the system, now when you come,
but he was not allowed to sign.
That's what I'm saying.
No money.
Exactly. Now you come in. Look at what Arne Slot did. Did Arne Slot sign?
What
I'm saying is that, see, you don't insist on your system. Look, see, that 3 defenders was never going to work with Manchester United.
I think for Slot,
they didn't have the players
in place for
to do it. I don't understand what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They don't have what it. See, to change from a 3-5-2, those are not things that it takes some level of players to play 3-5-2
personnel
or play 3-4-3.
Yeah.
There's an intelligence that is needed to play that kind of
and work rates.
And work rates.
Yeah.
You must be able to run.
Man, you don't have them.
Now,
now let's just say I have a plan to play, but now as I don't have those players, how can I adapt for a while? I'm telling you, if Ten Hag had stayed till now, it would not have been this bad. Rude boy. Ruud van Nistelrooy. He didn't lose in 4 games. Rude boy came in. That's talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy. And he didn't, he would have just steadied the ship. My point is now, you not insisted on playing your style without having a player or two that understand your system. That's why I say wrong man. Because he doesn't have the common sense. I'm telling you, in the long run, maybe let's get to see. But for me, wrong time, that one was sure. We all know wrong time. But wrong man is that as a coach, you are, look, you said you saw Spurs. You saw Ange. Ange has done different things. There's time Ange was giving Banker Highland. There's a time that he decided, okay, let me pack. Let me just sit down. We saw Ancelotti pack the balls against Man City. There was no way Madrid was going to meet Man City 2 seasons ago. If he did not pack the balls, Man City were going to kill him. I saw Madrid for the first time in my life pack balls. I was like, what? Madrid? They won the match. Won the competition. And what are we now saying? So that's where a coach says, oh, based on what is available.
This is what we can do to win.
I guess it's stubbornness, you know, played a part, but at the same time, you are allowed to learn from your mistakes. A new season, start afresh. They play local football.
It's Man U, you're kind to learn.
Look, I think it's a good thing for United that they put aside all those distractions of European football or whatever. They don't need it.
No, there is a clause.
They don't need it.
No, they've suffered a loss now. There's a clause in there. Is it Nike or Adidas that they're worrying that if they don't make the Champions League, it's going to be a very huge loss?
I don't care. Yes, we know yes, they need to go through all of that.
All of this.
They need to be very grounded. Don't forget, Alex Ferguson did start in a very glorious way.
Very true. Very true.
All right. Very grounded. Do local stuffs and then build up from there. The transition and rebuilding has to start.
All right. Okay. Know what happens? You can send in your messages on WhatsApp 0802-0815-247 and let's read them out. Now let's get straight to the Italian Serie A. You just saw Napoli there. Napoli, they are champions. There's no, they had last week, Inter had the chance. Napoli drew against Parma. It was a goalless draw, and Inter Milan, 88 minutes, they were 2-1 up. Who did they against Lazio? Against Lazio.
Pedro came in.
They had the chance. They had the chance, but they threw it away. Drew that match in late, and they had to come down to the final day when Napoli were at home against Cagliari and they were away against Como. But they did their job.
They did their job, of course.
But if I was updating during the match, there was a point during the match when Inter scored. Napoli Inter were champions at that point in the match. But then, of course, this man, McTominay, and that's what brings us back again to Manchester United. McTominay has now been voted as player of the season.
Yeah, MVP of the season.
Redemption.
How?
No, he had that quality from, he came from the academy.
No, I'm not saying he's no quality. How did Man U fluff? How did Man U mess things up so badly?
Environment matters.
So well at United.
He was so bad.
Part of the problem.
He was better than what you have it down.
As at that time, many of them were not doing so well. And you see, the moment Antonio Conte was appointed manager for Napoli, I remember telling my colleague, I'm sure you know Ned Blaster, I said, Napoli has won the league. Yes, of course. You said so? Yes, I said so.
Wow.
I know that, yes, all season they will have their issues and all that. At some point, when they lost that position to Inter Milan, I was like, this I'm going to eat my word. So, but somehow they came back. That's a full season for you. It's always top secret. It's always rocky and everything.
3 Serie A with 3 different
clubs.
5 Serie A.
Yes, 5 Serie A with 3 different clubs.
You are correct. And one with Inter and one with Napoli.
This is Lukaku's first title?
Second.
No, second. The one with Inter
with Antonio Conte. Now, where am I going to with this? When he came in, he identified those he wanted. And I know let's move aside from the Osimhen saga and issue.
That's why Nigerians didn't want them to win.
Don't mind them.
Of course, we never wanted him to win.
But he recognized that I want Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah.
He got Romelu Lukaku. He didn't care losing Kvaratskhelia. The club needed money too. Let's not deny the fact that Napoli needed money. He brought in McTominay. When he was bringing in McTominay, a lot of people were wondering why would you need McTominay? But we've always seen, don't forget Victor Moses, who was of no use at some point at Chelsea, became a player that, wow.
He brought in Zappacosta.
Yeah, he knows how to play the league. He knows how to set up structures. He knows how to use players systematically.
There was a time when he was available and Man U was still playing around.
Before they picked him.
Because of what they experienced with the old Tottenham too as well. He went to
but
Tottenham.
you know the problem now. We hear that he's asking for 200 million. And if he doesn't get it, he will leave. And Napoli are already lining up some replacements.
Is it the Champions League? He has to, of course, beef up. You cannot go to Champions League without Napoli squad.
You can't.
I'm sorry, but they are going to beat you.
You can't.
All right, but Napoli, kudos to them. Winning the Italian Serie A, of course, and Inter Milan, very sad. The treble is not going to be possible again.
Yeah.
They'll be up against
They
PSG.
might even lose the Champions League.
They can
Oh,
go
yeah, of
trophyless.
course.
And
It's
they will
not
go
bad.
trophyless.
They can go trophyless. It's very possible. That's
Only one more
football for
trophy.
you. They can go
And then they go
trophyless.
trophyless.
That's football for you. You
I
can't
really
be
want them
very.
to go trophyless.
You wouldn't
I
want
really
them.
want them to go
You didn't want them to
trophyless.
go
You know why?
trophyless. Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right. Well, let's since we are on that tangent, before we head
Yeah.
to Chelsea, let's skip it with the Champions League. Inter Milan. Inter Milan, with Simone Inzaghi this season, they've played some of the most wonderful football. I love that team. He knows how to get the best. They can defend well. They know how to keep up the goals. They know how to win with 1-0. They know how to win without conceding.
4-3.
And then they know how to come out on the attack. Like I still mentioned, Barcelona, Inter Milan, home and away. Classic. It should be a Champions League. It should be a Champions League Hall of Fame.
Of course.
Some of the best matches of all time. But then they're going up against PSG. Will this league, in quotes, that they flung, because they bottled it,
Yes,
kind of,
it is.
right? Would it
Did
affect?
they?
They
At some
were
point-
on top at some point.
I mean, but at some point they were not on, on
okay,
top.
but last week,
As
because
as
while
long
they were
as
on the
you're
pitch,
top, you came
updates were coming in.
Yeah.
That Napoli and Parma
drawing.
were drawn,
But
and
then-
it looked like it was not going to happen. So it was
But they were
like,
playing a Lazio team.
2-0 up.
Yes, they were playing a Lazio team.
No,
Oh, come
Lazio-
on.
See,
See,
Lazio have
look,
been hot and cold this
It's
season.
like you,
Yeah.
it's like you when you look at it from the angle of, yes, my favorite. There's a favorite team.
Favorite team, yeah.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah.
And you just forget the opponent.
You know
like
they
the
were home.
opponents don't have.
No,
they
they
don't
were
have-
home, oh.
It
I mean,
doesn't matter.
it's just like-
2-0 up.
It doesn't matter.
Very late goals.
it's just like Como.
They crumbled. To be
Against-
honest.
against-
Where's Lazio on the league? You think they don't want to also
They want to go
make-
to Europe. They
Exactly.
want to make Champions
So
League.
everybody is fighting for
But
something.
why will you be coaching a team and then within just 10 to 20 minutes left, you concede 2
This is
goals?
football. Anything can happen.
That's
And don't
why
also
I said
forget
they
that-
bottled it. It's still bottling
No,
joy.
I don't think they did. I don't
Okay,
think
I
they
get
did.
where she's coming
Don't
from.
forget
I mean-
that this season for Inter Milan,
Yeah.
from the Super Cup to the Coppa Italia to the league itself, going far in the Champions League, they've been playing more football than even Napoli themselves, and the squad have been stretched thin. So I can just give them that excuse that they don't just
So,
it's allowed.
but you people said they were the best team in the whole world for this, for that.
Who said they were the best team in the whole world?
I know people who have said that Inter Milan are the best team in the
In the
world
whole
with the
world,
football
really?
they play. Yes.
I mean,
come
okay,
on.
you know what? We can
I don't
agree
know
that
about that.
changes from time to time.
Yeah.
At one point during the season, Liverpool were actually the best team. They topped the Champions League
Before
group.
the round of
Yes,
16.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, and the way they were playing, they defeated Real Madrid.
And
They
they-
went up. You know, in the
Yes.
Champions,
Yeah.
they showed themselves.
Yeah.
They were top of their league, top in Europe, in all 4
They were
competitions.
unbeaten at
As
some
at that
point.
time, in the power rankings, you've seen it where
Yes,
people talk about
yes,
power rankings
yes,
change.
yeah.
At one point, it was Inter. At one point, it was Barca.
True.
Power rankings move.
Yeah.
So yes, at one point, yes, you could say that Inter in the power rankings
Yeah.
were up
And
there.
I think that is also down. It's affecting every team. I think it's also down to the number of games played this season.
And then this Club World Cup coming up.
Players have been
No, you
complaining.
don't-
Before
you
the
don't need
season
to put
started,
your whole mind to
players
Club World Cup, to be
complained. I
honest.
remember Rodri before he got injured, Carvajal and co. They came from the Euros. Don't forget, we played Euros. Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Euros
yeah.
and Copa America.
Nations League
And after
next
this,
month,
exactly. And after this, they'll still play the
I
Club
don't
World
mind,
Cup.
let them play.
The Club World Cup, 32 games, 64 games, 32
Thursday.
The
teams.
money where they collect.
Thursday,
no
one
be
day.
small.
No, one-
Thursday, if our 3 years,
I'm not-
if
I'm
our
not
3
denying.
Salary.
if our 3 years share 1 day salary
I'm
of
not
Osimhen,
denying.
one
And they
day.
work again.
No, I'm not denying that they're not well.
You feel no come this show next week.
Next week,
One day.
one
oh.
month.
I say one day. I didn't say 1 week.
I'm not denying.
Eh.
No, I'll travel out. I'll go to,
One day.
I'll go to Santorini.
One day. I didn't say 1 week.
I'll
One
go to-
day.
I'll go to
My trip to
Santorini.
Afcon on this sort of.
Why did-
I'm not denying the fact
Baba,
that
you come out
they
World
are-
Cup sef. One day.
they are well paid. But they are not robots either. They're
Eh,
human beings just like
eh,
you.
It's
and
not
that
like they
is
play
why-
every 3 days
and
now. They
yes,
don't play
and
every
that
3
is
days.
why.
You can't
and-
even see. Professional football is not what you
And
play
then
a
look at-
monkey post. Oh,
I mean, look at
it's
what
not.
Infantino is doing now with the Club World Cup. The
Yeah.
money also there.
It's a lot.
There's a lot
It's
of
a
money.
lot
Go
of
back
money.
to what?
You
That's
trade
why-
money for your life.
That's why,
125
yes,
million.
that's why if you notice,
There's money.
the big sides that are in this competition are trying to make sure they get the players that they need
You sign
over
in.
the
In
line.
fact, they have
There's-
to
there's-
do
there's-
a mini
there's a
window.
window.
Yes,
There's a mini window.
First to 10 or
so
so.
they have to do so before
So the Xabi alone, they've moved. Players are moving. Okay, and the
Look
players
at
that would
Liverpool.
have gone free. They are saying, okay, take a little money, let the person be available
Yeah.
1 month or a few weeks earlier. Let them come
because
with
they
us
want to
and
have
train.
their full squad, a full team to be able to compete because the money is huge.
All right, okay. So, but then let's look at the Champions League finals, which of course will happen. We'll still talk about
That
that.
was
but
in 31st.
Yes, let's just
Next week,
let's talk
Saturday.
about it very shortly. PSG versus Inter. With PSG have been resting. It's all they've been just been chilling. Inter, of course,
Campaign
but
mode.
I love that Syria saw it and put those 2 games,
Yeah, I
you know, a little bit, you know,
They
for
did the
them.
same for Real Betis too.
Exactly, for Betis and all of that, and said, okay, so Inter have time. Their team is ready. Thuram is available. Lautaro Martinez, just to get them full and all that. Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, and Dumfries. Even though Dumfries started on the bench, and most of these guys started on the bench against Como. But for the final, what's your expectation? PSG against Inter?
I would side with Inter more because they are a more experienced side. They've in the last 3 seasons they've been in 2 Champions League finals. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But you look at PSG too. They have Arsenal to be able to hurt Inter Milan. You look at Dembele, you look at Kvaratskhelia. In the midfield too, Fabian Ruiz, they're a good side and well-coached side too from Luis Enrique in terms of tactics and how they set up their side and how they even attack and defend too. The pressure they put, they're already putting pressure on you the moment they lose the ball and already trying to recover the ball immediately. But Inter Milan are a side that they don't conform to anybody's style of play. No, if like you're coming with tiki-taka, we will disrupt it. You can do your thing, no, but it's not a place where I play to your tune. We would play you play yours, we'll play ours. It's as simple as that. In fact, for Inter Milan, I see them as a side like Real Madrid where they can adapt to any style of play. You look at that midfield of Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, and Barella. If you want these guys to play the tiki-taka in the midfield, they can do so. And if you want them to go long, where you see Çalhanoğlu playing as a quarterback,
very good at that long ball.
Yes, and Mkhitaryan playing as if he's a wing back, they are very good at that too. So that's why I love them. That they're so
old.
They're so dynamic that the experience that this team packs. Plus youngsters, you look at Thuram, Thuram is quite young, coming from the French Ligue 1 and all that. So there's certainly and the myth of the last time Inter Milan defeated Bayern Munich in the Champions League, they went on to win the Champions League as well. So this will be their 3rd Champions League trophy if they win it. And that's why I also feel like they are more mature, they are more mindset-wise and stability.
They are the people to beat.
Yes.
PSG, of course. This will be their 2nd final in recent times and all of that. PSG, they've always been going close, and then with Luis Enrique, which I think is a difference maker in that team and all of that. With Vitina, with Neves, you know, with that midfield and all of that. What do you think PSG can spring up on the day? You think they have a chance?
Well, they say 3rd time lucky, but I think this time it should be 2nd time lucky because I want to tilt with PSG. Enrique is experienced. He has won the Champions League at least over, what's this man's name? Inzaghi.
Simeone,
he has the experience. He's been to the semi-finals a couple of times, been to the final, and has won it with MSN. But this time around, remember that he's not using a traditional number 9, and they can stretch the defense of Inter Milan. Inter Milan are playing with 3 at the back, and these guys are very, very pacey. I mean, PSG. Dembele can adapt to any place.
But that 3 at the back is at the same time is 5.
Yeah, of course, I know,
Because it depends on
when you see Dumfries, when you see Dumfries attack, and then there's a counter. It happened against Arsenal. Timber going up front, you already see Barcola, you see Kvaratskhelia running at your defense. So I think it's a thing of where Inter Milan might be a little bit conservative. The wingers up front and even Dembele playing as a 9.
Are you saying that we're not going to have an exciting match as we saw with Barcelona?
I do not think it's going to be. I do not think.
Final.
Everybody will be conservative.
They'll be cagey, they'll watch out for each
We've
other.
We've played the whole season, even if we just want to hold this match.
PSG really want to attack more. They want it more.
Look at the Inter Milan City game too. City were not all out attacking. They were also cautious.
They were looking at a time when they were going to go to the front and of course defend.
All right. Quite interesting stuff we have there. We'll look forward to that one. Well, let's get to the one that is happening on Wednesday. And that is, of course, Real Betis and Pokoli. Pokoli is a man reborn. That's talking about Anthony.
It's not Pokoli.
Okay, he's not Pokoli now. He's now doing what? You know, Antonio.
Yes, so.
Antonio. Now, let's take a look at, it's now, of course, the Conference League. The UEFA Conference League, and Chelsea will be up against Real Betis in the final on Wednesday. Now, for both sides will probably play Europa. Betis, based off on their standing in La Liga, will play Europa. Do they really? Chelsea tomorrow are playing Nottingham Forest.
Game of the season.
Right?
Yes, that's the most important.
That's is that more important than Betis Chelsea?
Sure.
They say a bird in hand, or how they say it now.
It's better than many birds in the bush.
So it's the one way day or one way day.
So if you make sure, if you take care of the Champions
small
League
business,
spots.
yeah.
Oh, come on.
Because if they win that one, what they are afforded is just Europa League spots.
If
And
they
small
do that,
money.
that releases, you know, a certain
Tension.
level of pressure and tension from them. Because if they don't, you also have to make sure you have to win at the end of the season. Just something to compensate
your fans.
There is the financial angle.
Okay.
You know, Chelsea have gone 2 seasons without a sponsor.
Okay.
So last season they had a sponsor for some games to the end of the season. So the problem is when you sign a long-term, when you want to sign a sponsor in front, the financial angle is that, okay, we're signing for a very long time. It's not 1 year, it's not 2 years. And if you're signing now, the bonus you're going to be getting is based on the competition you're playing.
Yeah.
So if Chelsea should make it to the Champions League, they are of course going to get the bigger boys come for them. So it is more of business oriented. Win against Forest or maybe draw. Tomorrow you're back in the Champions League. And
Don't
then
draw. They must win.
they must win. I think Aston Villa is behind already.
Yeah.
So with just 1 point.
1 point. So okay, they must win if they eventually qualify to the Champions League. For them, that is the greatest thing of the season. Europa
Champions
League.
League.
I mean, the cup they want to win is just for pedigree of saying,
just like
okay, we won everything in Europe. But the main thing, if
But it
they win
doesn't,
that
and
one,
I want to, let me tell Chelsea fans here, see, you know, that's why Chelsea fans, oh, we are the only club that will win all the European
Barcelona won't go do for Conference
Exactly.
League.
If they not say Madrid, I say, see, if Madrid see Conference League, they fit even say, man, they find them, they don't go play. I feel like if something happened
Or
in
they are cut,
the
like go
in the worst case scenario, Madrid will have to come
They won't even allow that
Sixth
manager get to that
or
level.
seventh
they would have sacked him.
for him to play
Have you
Conference
forgotten
League.
Benitez?
Like Madrid can just come and just say, "Wait, fine, UEFA, do what
When
you
last
want
they
to do.
play Europa?
We can't play."
When Madrid
Exactly.
play Europa? You don't tell now.
Exactly. All right. We have a phone call. We have a Ijoma on the line. Hello, good morning. Ijoma, what happened now? Okay, we'd love to hear you. Please, you can call in. You see the numbers across your screen, but you can send your messages on WhatsApp 0802-081-5247, and we'll take them. So, yeah, you know, my point is this. Well, to them, they have to something to, you know, to make them feel like they've done something.
pride,
But that match against Betis is not. I don't think it's not going to be an easy match.
You know,
For me, I'll tilt toward Betis.
Of course, a lot of people want to stake money, I think, for the punters. Let me say pundits.
Investors.
The punters. Yeah, if you want to stake wisely, but from a wiser perspective, don't put up with Chelsea because Betis, this trophy means more to them than it means to Chelsea. You know, the caliber of Chelsea and Betis, they are not the same.
Yeah.
If Betis should win, this will be like their second title in about 3 years after the Copa del Rey with under Pellegrini. And now it's still Pellegrini, it's still there. And their first European trophy. So you have to look at it that who wants him more? Anthony wants to make a statement against an English team. His goal is in the form of his life, and same with Anthony. Pellegrini knows how to play against an English team. So it is tilting towards Betis. They've played better team. They played Fiorentina in the semi-finals, but Chelsea have had it much more easier.
Aside from Barca, they've been the most informed team in 2025.
Oh yes, that's very true.
Spain too. So
that's very true.
It means a lot to them winning this one and getting one over Chelsea. And like we said, for Chelsea, winning the trophy is just to show that okay, yes, we were in a lower European competition, and it will not speak well that we competed in this particular competition and we did not win. Now. You look at the league, like we already mentioned, getting European Champions League spots is the most important thing. Beat Nottingham Forest, and then we know that you are very, very serious for even for the next season too as well. And don't forget that they will play in the Club World Cup too among the big boys. They'll be there. You
know, Dems here is a Chelsea fan, and he says, "Good morning, beautiful game. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you, hear from you also, Dems." He says, "I'd prefer us to qualify for Champions League than the conference.
You see?
The main meal is tomorrow. The Conference League is not really relevant. Have a nice day."
That's a Chelsea fan who understands
Champions League football. Chelsea has not played Champions League football since
3 seasons
Thomas
now?
Tuchel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since the last time they won it.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand. So even Chelsea fans are saying that.
Sorry,
look,
Graham Potter.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the only Chelsea fan is my floor manager here, Juwon. You don't just that thing. You want to play. I beg to you say that thing again. Say again for wise investors.
I mean, it should be Real Betis.
Yes.
He's aware now. We won them earlier.
I told him this morning.
I told him 10K on Betis
10K.
and 10K on Anthony to score.
It's the truth.
So okay, well, you want to be Chelsea fan. You want to end your season in the village. You want to happen? You take it back to the village. All right, wonderful. So we all think that it's going to go towards Betis. Because even Chelsea, like they should put everything all on that match tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not saying Betis.
No.
I'm just saying that
Betis, man.
Look, it can go either way. And somehow, I just feel like Betis can make this happen because they are a side that they can also hurt Chelsea. It's not as Chelsea are so invincible. They're not that great, but
Okay,
yes,
you know what
anything can
happens?
happen.
Yeah, you know what happens? A number of people are calling the WhatsApp line. Call on WhatsApp. 0802-0815247. It's for WhatsApp, right? That's where you can call. We'll get to that. We'll take a short break very soon. But just before that, let's take a message here. This is another Chelsea fan who says, yes, I accept that Betis might win the Conference League final because Chelsea are looking towards being in Champions League next season. It's just 50-50 for the match. I don't say 50-50. I'll say maybe 70-30 towards Betis. 70,
Or 60-40.
Yeah, because they have more. First of all, Betis has more time to rest.
Yeah, they do.
They've had more
They've
time
played
to
already.
rest. They've played already. They'll have more time. Nottingham Forest will drain Chelsea.
Yeah.
And of course,
Even if
Chelsea are going to
Chelsea
play
win
with
that
their
match.
first team.
The fact
Yes.
that
Their
it's
strongest
the fact that it's at the City ground, Chelsea are going to sweat for it.
They're going to sweat for it.
So it will drain them. Okay, you know what happens here? We'll talk about the transfer. You know, the funny thing is how the transfer league transfer window has not opened officially, the main one, and some people have already completed their deals.
They do
right
now.
Okay, so we'll talk about the transfer league. We'll just take a very short time out now. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. When we get back, of course, we're talking about the transfer league and, of course, how some teams are able to spend over 150. Arsenal, Liverpool, what's happening in transfer window or the transfer season? That will be right after this time out. All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now, like I said, the WhatsApp number 002-0815247. WhatsApp calls and messages, not phone calls, not direct phone calls. So let's do the transfer window. And something happened just yesterday which has blown up a lot of things. Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Where did that come from? How did that happen? From what end? Liverpool have always, in recent times, in fact, from Jurgen Klopp's era, before they spend, they have to sell. We know that. People talk about how Coutinho. You know how Coutinho was maybe the reason why they won the Champions League and won the league, because it was after they sold him. It was the money from him that they bought Alisson and they bought Van Dijk.
Yes.
Those two changed the tangent of Liverpool. They have to sell for the past 10 years.
They plan to sell. The wage that Arnold will be leaving behind.
Okay.
That's a massive one
Right.
too.
But then Florian Wirtz, Leverkusen put 150 for him, and they are saying that if they go low, 130 minimum is where they will do. And Liverpool are, in fact, reportedly they had done with personal terms.
Yeah,
they're now going with the clubs now, and
there's already
in the fine house for even Liverpool and all over. And this was someone that Man City said it's too expensive for them.
We never saw them in the news battling with Bayern Munich, battling with. I think the money,
Man City.
the price tag scared off Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
because those ones also they have a squad full of talent. Their budget, their wage cap is massive already.
And where would he play? Would he play with Musiala?
It's
a problem.
That's a dream.
Two playmaker is a problem.
So we know people who do that, of course,
yes,
and then you have.
But what I'm saying is that it's the same thing with
them.
Madrid also. I don't think Madrid really wanted Wirtz, because if they did,
no, I don't. They're not even going for him.
yeah, because there's that talk that he would have gone with Alonso.
No, what's his name? This man from Stuttgart, Stiller. Is the person that they are trying to look at from Stuttgart. But other than that, you look at Florian Wirtz, it's just like adding an extra Galactico for no good reason. But Liverpool need
goodbye for Liverpool.
Goodbye, because they've not been able to replace Philippe Coutinho. And I'm saying that, I know a lot of people say, but they're winning the league, they won the Champions League without him. That's down to the manager. Managers know how, good managers, by the way, know how to replace without replacing that person itself. It could be replacing with tactics or with structure. We have to cover this person up with, you can even use two players to match up to one person's profile. So it's also possible. And that was what they did in that midfield. Fabinho,
Wijnaldum and
Henderson. They were able to cover for. It was more of strength, pace, and stamina.
But they've never had midfield creativity.
Yes, compared to guile, the fluidity of and charisma of Coutinho and even Florian Wirtz. And that put too much pressure on the wingers and also the fullbacks. But now with Arne Slot, it's not more we're relying on the fullbacks alone.
Okay, let's get Ijoma is back. Okay. Let's see if we can talk to Ijoma. Hello, Ijoma. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Which match? Which match?
We know.
Against who? Who versus who? Who win against who? Who they play who? Who win where?
No, nobody will win.
Nobody win with it.
Joma, who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who? I don't know what to say. Okay, Joma.
Doctor Who? What game?
Doctor Who?
Okay. I don't understand what you was
to
asking.
sound like a owl now.
Okay, all right, but yeah, now I get where you're coming from.
and
Very
too much
point.
pressure. If you notice this season,
Yeah.
Salah gassed out at some point.
He did.
Because
Match.
not just scoring alone, the creativity and scoring
Was on him.
Look at how outstanding he has been this
His
season.
numbers.
Double figure goals and
Double
double
figure
figure
assists.
The last person to have done that was Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
And
So the weight, the pressure is
yes.
too much on
on
him.
him, yeah.
And
So this is a good
that
buy.
was why in every other they could only just hold on to the Premier
crumbled
League.
in the Champions League.
Now there is talk of Kekes coming in. There's
Yeah.
Frimpong already almost done. Do they still need a striker?
They do.
They do need a striker.
They do need a
because,
striker.
Salah, I think the highest goal scorer has to be Salah.
Yeah.
Nobody's close in terms of, I mean, when you talk
Yes,
about
yes.
space,
Yes.
Luis Diaz, who used to be there, okay, scoring after Salah. It's been off for a time, and then
Yeah.
there's this report of him going to Barcelona.
Barca, yeah.
But the problem now is, if he leaves to Barcelona, who would replace him? You don't have
Gakpo.
the left. Gakpo?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gakpo.
No,
But that's
the
not
goals-
the
the
situation. now.
goals. So
Yeah, but that's not the situation.
the
But the
striker-
issue now is that a striker, would you think they can go for a striker? There's a Gio Corres out there.
They
They are
can
thinking
afford
of,
Osimhen
they are thinking
available.
of Isak.
Dilap or
There's
No,
Isak
they're
people?
actually looking at Isak. They're eyeing Isak, but I don't know how they want to do that in the same window that you
Do they have
sign
the
Isak.
advance?
Yes.
Because that'll be two of them will be at least 250 for two of them.
Yeah.
250, 300.
Nothing less than 100 million
So,
for Isak.
so I'm sure
going
they are
to
banking on
Newcastle.
selling Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunes. Who else in midfield? And I think there's
That
one more
was needs to
person.
be a
Wataru
loss.
cannot
So
amount to
they're
anything.
looking like 3 players that they want to sell and also
Alright.
free up the wage bill.
Okay, we do have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. You're live. Talk to us.
Okay, regarding Ribetes and Chelsea, just
Okay.
like you said, my name is Emmanuel, calling from Ikorodu.
All right.
Welcome, Emmanuel.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to make some references regarding that part. Just like the lady in the middle said, she said that Ribetes has the chance of winning, and she's seen Anthony scoring a goal. No doubt about that, because if we could look in the sense that, however, if the last play that Chelsea and Ribetes made, their last meeting, ended up in Chelsea winning in the group stage when they played the UEFA Champions League. Chelsea winning 4, and in the second leg, Ribetes won 1-0. So, which is home differences. So the match is going to be a different case. It's going to be a different scenario, a different setbacks. And if you have to look on how Chelsea have been playing so far, I'm going to say that Chelsea has a higher chance of winning this match in the sense that I'm not saying that I'm a Chelsea fan, but I have seen the way Ribetes played so far this season. It is a really something that we all need to like sit down and watch and say, oh, Ribetes are actually on fire in this season. But if you look at Chelsea's side as well, you know that okay, Chelsea are a team that are trying to like put together themselves. They are trying to like bounce back, trying to get their winning ways and trying to set a standard. So I can see Chelsea winning this conference.
Okay, conference league. Thank you very much.
So because
all right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's wrap up on the Liverpool situation now. They do need a striker.
Yeah.
Darwin Nunes will probably go with your loss, and you think they can defend their title next season? Let's wrap up with that.
Nope. They can't. Why? Because it's going to be a 3-horse race next season for me.
Okay.
I know.
Arsenal going to be there.
Of
Man
course, I
City
know
will be there.
City had a rough season.
Yeah.
But this gives
They have
them
points to prove.
Yes. Pep himself, apart from the club, Pep himself has a point to prove that he's not finished. A lot of people wrote him off saying, without KDB, without this, he's not there. And some of the players have a point to prove. Someone like the former PFA Player of the Year, Foden. He's not been invited to the Three
All
Lions
right,
squad.
let's take one call. Let's wrap up with this call. The calls have started coming in just at the end of the show. But hey, you're on to us. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning. You're on to the show. Please just go straight to your point very fast. Please turn down the volume on your TV set. I'm hearing myself. Please turn down and then go straight to your point very fast.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Sophie. Quickly, I just want to say that I want Inter Milan to win the Champions League.
Okay.
But playing against Barcelona, home and away, I feel like that is the season I actually forget. because they've had it very roughly. And again, don't forget that because of the Barca lost some league games, just because they wanted to play Barcelona, they rested, and it affected them towards the end of the season in their league. Also, let's not forget that we have this year final, which is the women's final today, Barcelona versus Arsenal. So I feel like we should hear your point on
You are right. We'll wrap up with that. Let's wrap up with that. Okay, guys, let's wrap up with that. Barcelona versus Arsenal. Let's wrap up. Thank you very much. We would have gone up with, well, we'll wrap up because, yeah, Barcelona versus Arsenal.
I'm turning between, but...
What I thought it was, what I'm saying, forget who you like now. Barcelona, can anybody stop them? Even if they join Arsenal, Lyon together.
Lyon stepped them years back.
Okay,
And,
but this is the final.
Is
Do you
it-
think
no.
that Arsenal can do anything against?
They can. From the comeback against Real Madrid, where they lost the first leg 2-0.
Yes.
They did that comeback 3-2
Lyon also.
and all that. And the fact that they've gotten this far for the first time in a long while.
In a long while.
Yes, I would also still give them that respect that they can hurt Barca.
Barca,
But
okay.
it's a given that Barcelona are the favorites of this tie. They are also the most informed side. They are also better than Arsenal in every ramification, in every area. I was in the press conference with Alex Portelas, where she was talking about, don't let us remember when we just started and all those stuff. We just concentrate on now, and we don't want to deviate from the fact that, look, there's pressure on both sides.
Okay.
Anybody to win this one. And look, for us, Arsenal winning this would be a defining season for them.
For their women.
Yes, for their women, because they've really done so well. They may not have won the league. Of course, Chelsea are
Chelsea
dominant
just
in that,
blissed
in that regard.
through.
But winning this
Would be a big one for
would
them.
be a big statement for them.
What are your thoughts
know-
for this game? He was asking because some people, for me, I would say goals. I think over 2.5.
Normal.
Okay,
The
for
women,
you,
they score goals.
For cooking, I would of course mention both teams to score
Yeah.
and over 2.5.
Oh, 2.5, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, as for the season,
Yeah.
Arsenal, if they don't win this trophy, we understand that, okay, winning against FC Barcelona is a little bit far-fetched, yeah? But we need to also say that the coach, Rainy, what's her name? She has done fantastic this season. She took over very early in the season, but when they were, battling with not even qualifying for the Champions League, but now they took second, very small point off Chelsea. They can be bad defensively. Against Aston Villa, they considered 4.
Yeah.
Many teams have
They
scored
shipping
5,
goals,
But when they are on their A game, I do not think they can be beatable. But this game, goals, of course.
Goals, of course, will happen. Goals, of course. All right, that's it on the show today. Let's wrap up. But just one thought on the Super Eagles list, very fast. Let's
Well,
wrap up.
I like
Your
it.
thought on the Super Eagles list.
Infusing 9 home-based players. But, it's a friendly against Ghana, Jamaica, and Trinidad.
Yeah.
And it's just next week.
Okay.
Our first game is on next week, I think Friday, 28th.
Okay.
Yes. So our first game is on the 28th.
Okay, so we'll have time
I'll-
next week to deal
I
with it.
also felt we should have picked better opponents too, tougher opponents.
Hey,
that
see,
would have
let me
challenged
just,
us.
No,
Toyosi, I want to wrap up with this question on
We
you.
still have Russia.
Yeah.
Why
Russia,
earth
call.
are we playing Russia?
Russia,
Russia
no.
has been banned by
That's how
FIFA.
you say
No,
you
it
It
have
will not
Russia.
count.
It will
Yeah.
count now.
How?
FIFA have already relaxed the rules. They said that it is now a FIFA friendly, yes, but of course it can't be a competition. It's a FIFA friendly to count towards the rankings in June.
Okay, FIFA said that.
Yeah,
Even
FIFA said
though-
that.
who is
Even
in
though,
Russia?
yeah,
Who
why-
is
why-
in
why
If
we
Russia?
in
FIFA
Russia?
had not relaxed their rule, would have been flirting with ban. But now we are not
Okay,
flirting
so
with
the
ban.
ban is relaxed.
Yeah, it's relaxed. So that's what we're
Okay,
playing. 2
okay.
games in May,
Okay, okay.
in
What's
May
wrong
and
with
June,
wanting
and then
to
there's
play
also
against
Russia.
England?
Yes,
What's
I
wrong wanting
know.
to play against England, wanting
Yeah.
to play against Spain?
Senegal are playing against England. this
Against
June.
England,
But
yes.
I can assure you that there are plans in place to make more A games friendly.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful,
our-
wonderful,
before our
wonderful,
qualifiers.
wonderful. That's our social. I say so, that's our Super Eagles. Is it let's do it again? What did
Yeah,
they
we're doing
but
it again. And for the women, Mission X.
Oh yes, Mission X.
Yes, we're
We
playing
won
Cameroon.
9 titles out
Yeah.
of 13.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Out of 13.
And we've been chasing the 10th since
We've been
2
chasing-
years ago.
No. Since 2018, South Africa won the last one. So and now nobody has won it. We had the one that going to win it. So Mission X.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
so
we've been chasing
AKA.
10 since, was it not 2022 now?
Yeah, 2022.
In Morocco or
Was
South
supposed to
Africa?
do Morocco was supposed to do going for 10th, but
Yeah.
now Mission
Okay.
X. We're
Mission
playing
X,
Cameroon
aka La
next
Decima.
Saturday.
I'll never forget when Madrid went on that particular
Yes.
quest.
We're
La
doing
We're doing our
Decima.
own decimal with Mission X.
La Decima.
Okay.
So you think we can do it now
Of
without
course we can.
It looks-
Agbabola?
it's
No,
sounding-
we've
it's
moved
sounding like
past.
We've moved
for a
past
while.
Agbabola.
But
It
there's a
sounds
way we
like a
can still make our
mathematical
work for the
challenge.
team.
Find X.
Find X. Thank you so much, guys. It's always a pleasure
Yes,
having
thank
you
you.
on the show. All right. Okay, and that's it. That's the size of what we have on the show for you this day. Of course, it's the Champions League, Women's Champions League. Arsenal, they have a trophy to pick. Even this for the women, they'll be up against Barcelona. Of course, Chelsea up against Betis. We gave you our wise bet. Betis, just look at them more. And of course, we'll have time to talk about the Champions League next Saturday. It's been a wonderful show. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.